When it comes to a lot of series, you can be blinded by nostalgia. That warm, fuzzy feeling from when you first watched it convinces you the show is perfect, untouchable, even when the cracks are showing like cheap plaster. And in all honesty, that's the biggest problem with most series. Fans cling to the memory of how it felt, not how it actually was. Nostalgia makes it harder to criticize because you're not just reviewing the show, you're reviewing your own past self. And believe me, that's dangerous territory. As someone who rarely touches anything past 2010, I know exactly how tricky it is. The older the series, the stronger the nostalgia. The stronger the nostalgia, the more likely you are to ignore the filler episodes, the retcons, or the fact that entire plot lines were stitched together with chewing gum and prayer. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today we're looking at J.J. Abrams' early 2000s spy thriller that proved he could dangle a mystery box in front of an audience and keep them guessing until he forgot what was in it. It had action, espionage, double agents, triple agents, ancient prophecies, soap opera, family drama, and more disguises than Hannibal from. It was stylish, fast-paced, and Jennifer Garner carried it with a level of dedication that deserves credit. But once you scrape away the nostalgia and look back with clear eyes, you see just how uneven it really was. This was peak spy thriller setup. Sydney Bristow, college student turned SD6 operative, thinks she's working for the CIA until the rug gets yanked out. SD6 is actually the bad guys, part of the Alliance of 12. Classic Abrams move. Tell the audience one thing, flip it upside down, and hope they don't notice the seams. The personal stakes are great. Her fiancé Danny gets killed when she breaks the cardinal rule of espionage. Don't tell your loved ones you're a spy. Her dad turns out to be a double agent too, because apparently espionage is a family business. This season is tight, and the mix of Rambaldi mysticism and spy games feels fresh. But already the seeds of nonsense are planted. Prophecies, hidden artifacts, and the kind of world where everyone has a secret agenda. Nostalgia says it's brilliant. With hindsight, you can see the Jenga tower wobbling. Alias really hit its stride here. Irina Derevko, played by Lena Olin, steps in as Sydney's estranged mother and steals the spotlight with ease. The reboot halfway through, destroying SD6 and putting Sydney with the actual CIA, was gutsy. Most shows would drag that deception out for 6 seasons, but Abrams burned it down in 2, and for a while it worked. Face-offs with Arvin Sloane and Julian Sark were tense, and Rambaldi's mystery box was still intriguing. But then came the soap opera twist. Francie, Sydney's best friend, is murdered and replaced by a lookalike imposter. It was shocking then, but now it screams. The finale upped the ante by dumping Sydney in Hong Kong 2 years later with no memory of what happened. Great cliffhanger. But here's the thing about big mysteries. You have to pay them off. This is where nostalgia covers a lot of sins. Sydney, missing for 2 years, presumed dead, while Vaughn moved on and got married. That should have been dynamite. Instead, we got brainwashing, Julia Thorne, and memory wipes. The narrative equivalent of shaking an Etch-a-Sketch because the writers painted themselves into a corner. Sloane became a humanitarian because apparently mass murder and war crimes can be forgiven. If you write a nice speech, Vaughn's wife Lauren turned out to be evil, shocking no one except Sydney. And by the time Sydney found out about her secret half-sister Nadia, you could feel the writers trying to spin too many plates. Season 3 isn't bad, but it's messy. Nostalgia remembers the action and tension. Reality remembers the soap opera sludge. Alias hit peak absurdity here. Sydney uncovers Project SAB-47, and somehow, in typical Abrams fashion, it links back to her dad Rambaldi and probably your neighbor's cat. APO was basically SD6 with new paint because when in doubt, recycle. They even threw in Arvin Clone because why not? Evil twins, doppelgangers, imposters. Alias was halfway to becoming a telenovela, and yet the action was still slick enough to keep you watching until that finale. Vaughn reveals he's not really Vaughn, drops a massive mystery bombshell, and then another car smashes into theirs, cutting to black. That's how the season ended. Not resolution, not even a proper cliffhanger, just Abrams-style whiplash. By now, the show was limping. Jennifer Garner's real-life pregnancy was written in Vaughn got shot, but not really dead because Abrams loves fake deaths more than coffee. And Prophet 5 took over as the new shadowy organization. Sound familiar? It should, because it's basically SD6 and the Alliance all over again, just with a new coat of paint. The new cast additions were forgettable. Nadia was shoved into a coma and the Rambaldi plotline collapsed under its own weight. The finale had one decent moment. Sloane achieves immortality only to get trapped in a cave forever. That's poetic. But everything else felt rushed, patchy, and desperate to tie loose ends before the axe fell. Nostalgia says what a ride. Reality says thank God it ended. Alias still stands tall as one of the best television series ever written. Having just rewatched the entire run, I can honestly say it hasn't lost a shred of its charm, intensity, or heart. If anything, time has made it even more binge-worthy. The kind of show where you sit down for one episode and suddenly realize it's 3 in the morning and you're halfway through a season. That's how effortlessly it hooks you. The acting remains top tier across the board, with Jennifer Garner proving that Sydney Bristow wasn't just another action heroine, but a fully fleshed out character, balancing heartbreak, deception, and relentless determination. The supporting cast, from Victor Garber's stoic Jack Bristow to Ron Rifkin's deliciously slippery Arvin Sloane, elevate every scene. These weren't just characters, they were layered, flawed, and human, making the stakes feel real even when the plots veered into globe-trotting, Rambaldi-fueled madness. The storyline is an incredible balancing act of action, espionage, romance, and myth-building, and somehow it never collapses under its own weight, well, at least not fully. Where most shows struggle to juggle even 2 of those elements, Alias tries to master them all, and often in the span of a single episode with a few wobbles here and there. And the dialogue? Smart, cutting, and endlessly quotable, laced with just enough wit to break the tension without undercutting the drama. That's what makes Alias timeless. It's not just a spy thriller, not just an action show, not just a mystery. It's the rare combination of all of those things blended into something greater. Do yourself a favor and watch it. If you've already seen it, revisit it. Few series reward a rewatch like this one does. In the end, Alias might very well be the best project J.J. Abrams has ever attached his name to, before the lens flares, before the reboots, before Hollywood's obsession with nostalgia drained the life out of originality. This was Abrams at his most creative and ambitious, backed by a cast and crew firing on all cylinders. Simply put, Alias is still one of the greatest shows television has ever produced, and it deserves every bit of praise it continues to receive. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.